Welcome to Daily Office Devotions, where every Monday through Friday we consider some aspect of that day's scripture readings as given in the Book of Common Prayer. I'm Reggie Kidd, and I'm grateful to be with you. On this Thursday in the season after Pentecost, our readings come from Proper 15 of Year 1 in the Daily Office Lectionary. Mark, love God and love neighbor. A dense moral fog descended upon us as soon as our forebears tasted the fruit that promised godlike knowledge of good and evil. As a result, our motives are mixed when we're at our best, and unalloyed evil when we are at our worst. Jesus cuts through the fog. We are put here on this earth to love God and to love our neighbor. In doing so, Jesus confirms and furthers the message of the law and the prophets. But over the course of his whole mission, he adds a power to love that only his death, resurrection, and ascension and indwelling presence can provide. 2 Samuel. David emerges from his grief. In today's account of David, we see the king begin to grope his way back from his dysfunctional love for his wayward son Absalom. David's love for God and neighbor is mixed with an instinct for self-protection and a calculus for political survival. Thanks to wise counsel from Joab, his general-in-chief, a measure of equilibrium returns to David. He comes out of his grief and focuses on the people who still expect him to lead them. 2 Samuel chapter 19, verses 1 through 8a. The rebellion, largely based in the northern tribes of Israel, dissipates with Absalom's death. 2 Samuel chapter 19, verses 8b through 10. David prompts the priests in Jerusalem to recall him as their rightful king. 2 Samuel chapter 19, verses 11 and 12. In a complicated move, David invites Amasa, his own nephew and the former general of Absalom's army, to replace Joab as his chief general. Joab, remember, had killed Absalom in violation of David's orders. Moreover, Amasa is popular enough with all the people of Judah to win back the disaffected there. Stay tuned, however, because Joab is not going to accept his demotion. See 2 Samuel chapter 20, verse 10. Magnanimously, David extends mercy to the man Shimei. As David fled Jerusalem, Shimei had cursed him and thrown rocks at him. Now he is asking for forgiveness. 2 Samuel chapter 16, verses 5 through 14, and chapter 19, verses 16 through 23. Nor is this the end of the story for Shimei. David senses Shimei as untrustworthy and will advise Solomon to eliminate him. See 2 Kings chapter 2, verses 8 through 9. Acts. Paul before Felix. In today's account of Paul, we see aspects of love for God and neighbor brilliantly on display. Paul stresses the peaceability of his manner and the continuity of his worship of the God of his and his opponent's ancestors. Acts chapter 24, verses 10 through 14 and 16 through 20. Love for God and neighbor gives Paul the courage and the equilibrium to keep the focus on the critical issue that Christ's coming raises. Is there a resurrection of the dead? It is about the resurrection of the dead that I am on trial before you, he proclaims. Acts chapter 24, verse 21. Christ's own resurrection creates a pressing reality that calls for allegiance to him and to the new order he has inaugurated. Love for God and neighbor calls for the truthful telling of this wondrous thing. A takeaway. Sometimes life feels like it's death by 1,000 decisions, especially under uniquely trying circumstances where there seems to be no owner's manual at hand to guide your choices. Can you relate? Sometimes the answer is to slow down. Seriously, slow down and ask one question. What right now would it mean for me to love God and my neighbor? Be blessed this day.